a week ago. If Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda wasn't enough of a big deal, well, then imagine it getting any bigger than this. With Activision Blizzard now coming into the fold, Microsoft, the home to 34 developers. So, here's an updated list of every major franchise and studio that Microsoft now owns. Let's start with the new ones to the Xbox family. Activision, which basically means Call of Duty. That's right, Call of Duty and all of its developers, which are quite a few, including Treyarch, responsible for Black Ops, Infinity Ward, which spearheads Modern Warfare and Warzone, and Sledgehammer Games, the folks behind Vanguard and World War II. Along with it, that means all of COD support studios like Raven Software, Beanox Entertainment, Radical Entertainment, and High Moon Studios. In an interesting twist, this also now means Crash Bandicoot is under the Microsoft umbrella. Developer Toys for Bob, makers of the recent Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, and Skylanders, also making Spyro, Microsoft's company.
Like to see the bomb squad handle those
Tony Hawk. The Tony Hawk game franchise has been part of Activision since its inception in 1999. The recent remake of 1 and 2 is developed by Vicarious Visions, which has since been made a subsidiary.
We begin the day as Joe Biden prepares to mark 1 year in the White House. The leader of the world's sole superpower is trying to hold together the world's
Kill more of them.
threats from China or a nuclear Iran, resurrecting Russia too.
Snapping
Moscow is
this up.
making demands on Washington and NATO to pull back and stay back. No more eastward expansion. No NATO membership for Ukraine.
The scrap can create marvels. Give it a try.
The Russian mothership. High-level talks last week between the U.S. and Russia, NATO and Russia, and the OSCE in Russia ended with no progress. Instead, the OSCE's head warned the threat of war in Europe's backyard is dangerous and real. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock's visit to Kiev today sent a message to Moscow. We will not act as if the Berlin Wall never fell.
Fears of a Russian invasion of Ukraine have general
Ne kabel grist. Jebenti kable boš grizel zdaj.
Annalena Baerbock says any solution to the conflict
Pusti,
must come through
pusti
dialogue, not arms. Meeting Ukraine's foreign minister Dmytro
Jebenti
Kuleba,
sunce ti
Baerbock offered
jebem.
an explicit gesture of support for Ukraine.
Solidarity.
Nemaš
European
to,
solidarity
zamašaj.
for the sovereignty
Na.
and territorial integrity of Ukraine.
Na.
That is not up for debate, not for us, and not for me personally. Any further aggression would have a high price. We emphasize that today once again.
Russia is building troops on the Ukrainian border. Both the European Union and the US have threatened to impose further harsh sanctions if Russia goes ahead with an invasion. For years, Ukraine has called on Germany to deliver arms to help boost its abilities to defend itself. Kuleba says Russia doesn't share Ukraine's cooperative attitude towards defusing the tensions.
Pretty sure I'll disqualify as an ace.
But unfortunately, our constructiveness isn't mutual on Russia's part. From Kiev, Baerbock goes to Moscow on Tuesday. Keen to revive four-way peace talks in the Normandy format, which includes Germany, France, Ukraine, and Russia.
My first guest tonight is
Remember supporters?
I'll carpet bomb all your ass.
joins us tonight. Something to the head.
They sure can't throw a haymaker.
I wanted to end by
Blew that one's head off.
experiencing those winds and change back in 1989. Here's Vladimir Putin.
Bad move. Ah, damn. Devastating.
Hi, Brett. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for reminding me of my age as well. But no, you're quite right. I think that to any read the two draft agreements that the Kremlin put in front of the White House and NATO just before Christmas, had to conclude that what the Kremlin is pursuing here, what Vladimir Putin is pursuing here, is no longer just neutrality or Finlandization for Ukraine, but something much, much larger. And it is really the rolling back of the former countries of the Warsaw Pact, that are many of whom are now members of the EU.
Koga loviš ti?
That's a really
Koga
big
loviš?
It is a big deal.
Nobenega ni.
Consider what is at stake.
Hoj
Is
spat.
Germany, is Europe's
Hoj spat.
voice, are they as loud as they
Če ne
should
prišel
be
ven,
in
na
these
hladno.
discussions? I mean, I'm wondering, are Washington and Moscow talking over Berlin and Brussels?
Yeah, there's two parts to this question here. The question is, are the Americans trying to listen to us, and do they have anything to say? On the former point, I can tell you, and you probably have seen it yourself, the White House...
My allies,
published
I see
list
an opportunity
of their
to
phone
hit
calls
one
and
list
meetings
where
with,
it counts.
senior politicians across Europe, and I think it had about 100 interviews. So that question is fairly summarily answered.
Come to kill my soldiers? You cannot withstand their onslaught.
To me, the signaling coming from Berlin and then from Europe overall is pretty confusing. So in Berlin, you have Annalena Baerbock, as you said, heading to Moscow tonight for meetings tomorrow.
Kraft, you have sent your soldiers on their final mission.
Several senior social democrats party of the chancellor disagreed.
Don't get in my way.
The defense minister did so on the day that the Biden administration was trying to defeat.
Ma kje si dok to? Ma jebem ti sunce ti jebem. Daj sem mu se poključek. Jebem ti sunce ti jebem, ti jebem.
Oh, you're just begging. If we live through this, I'm painting monkey on my bomber.
We're going to kill Nord Stream 2.
Jebem ti.
Vladimir Putin. He would hit it where it hurts. The thing is,
Damn strong for a bag of bones.
what to do, and now we've got all our souls. Basically, he's carrying on that careful legacy.
Old bogey goes unpunished. Blew your bogey brains out. Drop that bag of bones.
Which said very clearly that
That was a hell of a break.
Hey yo, here's the munition.
Try that again, bogey. Monkey on his strike. It works like a charm.
You got lucky today, but you will fall.
But I do think
And
it's
so,
the truly
I
astounding
swear it.
language that's coming out of the Kremlin, basically saying, you know, we're not going to negotiate these agreements with you.
Steaming version of castor oil.
And we're not going to talk arms control or trust-building measures with you. Or the foreign
You struck a
minister,
blow.
number of whom there will
I
be
know.
tomorrow,
Von List
saying,
felt it. It is
you
what
know, after
he deserves.
1991, these
Come see me.
countries, the former
I'm in
countries
the
of
building
Warsaw
to the
Pact
left of the
were
theater.
also
Is that understood?
These
Over.
countries that are now members of
Sure.
members of
You want anything else while I'm out?
and I think when you have the rhetoric ratcheting up like this and an arms build up like you have on Ukraine's eastern border, I think it's time for Europeans and specifically the Germans who play a central role here to be more articulate in their language.
With the German foreign minister, I know she wants to revive the old Normandy.
Think you can pass here. Think again.
France and Germany between Moscow.
Inspiccabile!
Made my cut.
Usi!
Feels like I'm doing all the work around.
Not illegitimate, but I think that is what we're doing.
The
question really is, does anybody have a way
Minkä
to sort of get the Kremlin down from the extremely high flagpole on which it has positioned itself? That's really hard to see. Again, given the military buildup that's already there,
Don't these crowds their nails? I'd like to see the bomb squad handle those
hard to
fuckers.
see how the Kremlin does that without losing face, and we know that's not something it likes to do.
And what about the options for the West moving forward? If going to war over Ukraine is out of the question,
Pow! Right in the nut.
NATO
Sorry, slack-jawed losers. I like my own.
Western incursion at least uncomfortable and ugly for the Kremlin.
Professor called it boom. Emphasis on boom.
Doing that already. And I think the Ukrainians on that point are fairly reluctant. There are some things that they haven't received, such as, I don't know, Patriot missile defenses, or Manpad stingers, but at least that's what I'm reading. But I think the Ukrainians are relatively well equipped and trained to fend off anything sort of short of a massive full-scale invasion. It's still not clear that that
That was a hell of a stretch.
I think the more important thing to understand here is that for anybody who has, like me, since you didn't mention my age, lived through the Yugoslav wars of the 1990s when I was a reporter for the site, the weekly paper. That was a big
I'll perfect bomb all your ass.
Into military mayhem, war crimes, genocide. And the risk that I'm seeing is that you could see a protracted, extended conflict with sort of unclear battle lines.
Attention, we need to dispatch a message to the Dark Ether.
Cortefax has many enemies. Most were once his servants.
Alright, what's going on, guys? Before we get into the topic of today's video, I need to remind you guys that coming up in 4
Find
days,
the floating
is a
orb.
5-day game show where we're going to have an hour-long segment about Elden Ring, where Yasuhiro Kitao is going to be taking questions and answering them about the game. And I'll have the time on
It carries a
right now.
message to my allies in the
Zero
Dark
version to
Ether.
find out what
Make
exactly
sure
that's going to be. But also in other news, it seems like a release copy for Elden Ring.
I'm making this so easy.
But either way, it's about time to start taking control for content. No one gets all about the game. But if you way, be sure to subscribe to the channel. This will be your one-stop shop for all things without spoilers. Let's talk about why not Dark Souls. Ever since we got the
And you shredded my chest. Taste your own medicine.
You succeed.
Shouldn't have pissed me off. I'm hurt. Bad.
I believe this game goes far beyond simply being a Dark Souls. And so I'm going to lay out 5 reasons why Elden Ring is far.
Oh, sweet. Sweet finish. God, you awful stink. Son of a bitch.
Because most of the viable options require you to direct respect throughout the entire game. However, no
I'm on a roll. Let it ride.
And when I say magic, I'm really touching the umbrella of everything. Dragon magic and sorcery. And so when Elden Ring
Damn, you shredded my chest.
out of your way,
Ah! Damn! Devastating! Right back in! Back to go!
The world of Elden Ring is still alive. While we're going to be actively partaking in these events and exploring the background. We're not going to be stuck in dead world like Dark Souls.
I welcome more chances to kill you.
We're not alone this time. A big theme of the Dark Souls game was isolation. The fact that we felt alone and like we were on this journey by ourselves. And one way that the game achieved that was by having the other characters so secluded.
Cortifex's sins will all come home to roost.
The characters that we meet.
Do you see the Stormkrieger? Big, tough, and they shoot back.
Godfrey, Radon, and Melidia are going to be helping us make our way to the Earth Tree and become the Elden Lord. And if we want to get the most out of this,
Another one cleared. Von List will be furious.
Very influential for the endings of the game and the way the game plays out as a whole. But this leads me to my next point, that Elden Ring, unlike Dark Souls, is going to be driven by the main story of the game. We have a purpose, we have other characters that are going to be helping us to that purpose, and the things we encounter along that journey are going to be a direct result of what we're actually doing. While in Dark Souls, the main quest was kind of an afterthought, everything we do in Elden Ring is going to have a meaning and a consequence. We'll know why we're fighting the main bosses we fight, and what their main role in the world is. Think of it like Sekiro, where we were invested in the characters, and we knew the purpose behind every step we took. It wasn't just mentioned one time at the beginning of the game and then never again like Dark Souls. We didn't have to go vastly out of our way.
Lights out, asshole! Pretty sure I just qualified as...
Very exciting. Because we're so invested in these characters, the twists are going to hit that much harder. And it's going to cause us to really question our actions a lot more than Dark Souls.
Mortal
And I can promise you, once you
feel my wrath.
I realize very quickly. While Dark Souls had a lot of replayability, by making different forms of challenges and bosses, not limited by any structure. The entire layout of the game is based on this foundation of freedom and different experiences every time you play. Miyazaki stated that
I'd shoot your face again if you still had it. Keep falling, bogeys. There's more where that came from.
thousands of hours of replayability. When you think of all the different character quests and things you might have missed on a first playthrough, on top of all the different endings, one journey is not going to be near enough to experience what this game has to offer. And just the idea of that alone has me very excited. The final point I want to make
will
today
serve you well in battle.
Not Dark Souls 4 is the dynamic and ever-changing world. When you journey through Elden Ring, everybody is going to be playing the game at a different time.
As you can see, you will have to clear one more barrier.
Fighting a boss during a clear day while your friend is fighting a boss at night.
Time has come
That might
to
affect his
prove your
ability.
worth.
It's going to feel different every time you go through it. And now that we have this day and night
Cortifex puts his power into every revenant. Kill them, and he weakens.
And certain events only happen during the daytime. So this makes exploring the world has to be based on the strategy. For example, there may
Now
be a section of
shut up.
where you have to
There's
stay back
killing to be done.
very quickly.
Don't the sprouts ever clip their nails?
My plans will not be thwarted.
You didn't think I'd hit back?
And that's what's disheartening about the electronic in Elden Ring. Saying it's not different enough from Dark Souls. If it was how different this game is.
Oh, you're just begging to get free. You don't get to hit me and walk. Now my ears are ringing. Tag! Bad. Shut the fuck up! Screaming meanies are working my nerves. I'm good. Last go. This is strong rival, you just made my cover. Right on target. Ah! I know valuables when I see
Times you will bite off more than you can chew.
One thing, glad that From Software left out of the unused physical attacks. On the other hand, here are some attacks I do wish were in the game. The Mikolash marionette was once capable of throwing its hands.
My friends, if court effects can weaken, he can be
everything at the play.
Well done.
There's even a spin attack.
Feeling sluggish,
These were all restored
court
based
effects'
on
magic
abilities,
steals your
including
demon's
all moves
power.
of the Garden of Eyes, who was once
Let's find
able
a
to
place
cast
to
a
make
variety
a
of spells.
Start
The
looking
cast
around.
these with a small spider-engraved stone talisman, something that it still holds in the actual game. Lastly, the Laurent cleric enemy was at one point supposed to be a boss with a much wider range of attacks. This fight would have been so well paced, except for, well, the frame rate at times. And perhaps, had this been an actual boss, it could have been included in Bloodborne's boss rush dungeon.
Were you a craftsman before the war?
Close enough to completion that the official Bloodborne strategy guide actually mentions them as if they do exist in game, though of course they never made it in. As far as we can tell, these boss rushes would have only featured a small sequence of bosses, probably a themed set of bosses located in these unique arenas. Now it's impossible to tell if the boss rushes were meant to be rooms at the end of a layer.
Be careful, my
or if they were meant
allies.
to be their
Do
own
not
separate
enter it
classes.
unless truly
I wish this
prepared.
made it into the game.
Am I clear?
Sekiro's Game of the Year update
Understood.
showed
Over
that
and out.
Boss rushes
I
really
fear
do
you
suit
will
the Souls
need-
formula, and I hope they continue to add these to their games, even if they're just post-launch updates like with Sekiro. Also added to Sekiro in its Game of the Year update were remnants, manually recordable phantoms that can be shared between worlds. They can show hidden rooms, they can show effective techniques, they can even show you glitches that allow you to skip certain bosses.
I don't recall
One thing I don't
inviting
think
you.
anyone mentioned about these is
You will
that
not
remnants
be alive.
by a small throwing knife, the exact same sword used by
Hey, sure can't throw a haymaker.
well versed in, guessed it, summoning phantoms. Attached to them. Perfect for training. Another thing I love
This round. Even for walking books.
So, both sets of characters are incredibly strong marksmen. It left them long with rocket rifles at all times. Group sees it within a
Skulls versus bullets.
The Second Valley clan are also bandaged, likely because they live in a valley full of toxic minerals. And the leopards are bandaged too, because they're suffering from, well, leprosy. Lastly, many of the valued snipers in Irontown are women. Women have a place in the Second Valley clan as well. Those are Snake Eyes mini-bosses, who are descended from the legendary Okami. That's so much overlap, it's ridiculous. Both Princess Mononoke and Sekiro also feature the idea of purity and streams.
Try that again. Target bomb. Oh, Aye. Hey. Devastating. That was a hell of a straight.
Moving over to Dark Souls, at one point there was a cutscene that had a giant crow taking you away from the painted world. At one point there was a cutscene. Princess Mononoke and Sekiro also feature the idea of impurity and spilling.
Raise them stronger, CoD Zombies. Finish this!
I do the hit.
Seconders which say
Choke on that, asshole.
by spirit which is the manifestation.
I drop the kill blast. We'll get the fire. Aim for the brain can, people.
Go and watch that movie.
Attack. Bad move. Son of a bitch!
Speaking of organizations, Desert Sorcerers had a very interesting prototype. They actually have a kind of real place more accurately line as they want. This is just a single line.
Fuck! That made me see stars. Choke on that, asshole.
There's one everlasting dragon that we haven't been able to get a good look at.
Take your own medicine.
Discovered this, the ancient actually the oldest dragon. Dragon Peak. Once it was likely envisioned as a boss.
Ma,
Well, certainly discussion
neka je nog ti dela
Dragon Peak, as well as this incredible piece of concept art, which sort of has white hair swept back.
I will consume you, mortals, and your whole world.
It's even hidden out of sight, in a small cave to the left of the final bridge along the path of sacrifice. If you look closely,
We have a problem. Verm creatures from the Dark Ether are corrupting our battleground.
This club has been a my secret goal for years, but up to my limitation channel, which has an entire video on the
We must discuss what you just experienced.
dogs and dogs.
The scenes Come see me.
Didn't feel like it was. Blue and I make it stop. Oh, sweet thing.
Watch his video.
Bonus points.
Dark Souls 3 Dogs is Gale. A slave knight who successfully staked dog undead longer than any other character in the game. The undead curse, and curses in general, have a visual
You lose, Frankenstein.
literally flowing. Because part of the Dark Sigil's description is the darkness of humanity seems
Kamikaze corpses? I'm sick of it. Try that again, folks. What? You didn't think I'd hit back? Tell me. I brought you down.
to make you stronger, as it can grant you free soul levels. On the flip side, in the original Dark Souls, humanity is definitely a highly valued resource. Bonfire, the black
Definitely an
stripe
acquired
is
taste.
a surrogate for the curse. It draws the curse out of your body and releases the strain that it puts upon our own humanity. Thus, a hollowing is reversed. Fittingly, the original Dark Souls apparently used to have a humanity exchange mechanic as well.
Drinks are expensive,
But unlike in Dark Souls
but
3,
they ain't watered down.
you actually humanity in Dark Souls 3.
I do the hit.
I love how it reflects humanity.
Right back at you.
How consistent this is from a lore and a gameplay perspective across all three Souls games. Speaking of spanning all three Souls games, here's my newest merch project. It's called Trilogy, with the art designed in collaboration with Zan Valencat, put to print by Fangamer, and officially licensed with Bandai Namco. So the signature helmets of the Dark Souls cover characters are split into thirds, with a sort of molten Estus linking them together, and dark eclipse in the backdrop. The classic shirt is on a grey heather.
Apologies,
The
folks,
limited
not
edition
greeting
one
you
is
face
on
to face,
indigo,
but
marked
you
with
may
some choice
recall I am
graffiti,
magically
and this one's only
seizing
available
you.
for 2 weeks,
They are
starting
from
now, then never again. So
You
Fangame,
seem to know by now.
Shut the fuck up!
give me this link.
Perhaps you've explored how it can further empower your
It might actually help me
demonic
mission.
power.
Initially
Bearing my
licensed
gratitude to
with Bandai Namco,
Devara,
it in the future, which will be really fun. Hopefully, one day soon, Namco will show more of Elden Ring, their upcoming title. And even though we've talked about the trailer to death, believe it or not, there are still some details I haven't mentioned. So, alongside the announcement trailer, this image was shared. To me, it really gives off a huge Dark Souls vibes, doesn't it? CoD Sword reminds me a lot of fire. The character reminds me a lot of Prince Noctis.
Now here's this. The barrier spell of Cortifex is strengthening. Nauticus will show you the source.
Once again, we plunge into battle.
Most obviously is the base on the tower. This part of the road looks suspiciously like...
Scout! More enemies arrive to protect the control rooms!
Focus on
that was head off!
Western resolve when it comes to Ukraine. The steady diet of diplomacy so far fails the uncertainty over Vladimir's true intention to shut down
my puppets will stop you!
Order after Kiev, Germany's new foreign minister in Moscow this Tuesday, Annalena Baerbock brings to the table. She's a European led by the Social Democrats, far wielding Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Was hosted NATO Secretary General.
I will not be bested by a traitor and his mortal life.
Gas pipeline and bypass and links to Russia, Western Europe, as well as
you don't get to hit me and walk.
How hard will Germany and the rest of the EU come down to another
That made me see stars. This is the wrong slide. My
This will bury you.
No bogey goes unpunished.
U.S. trade goes so
My
far
puppets kill these stars.
In case of that financial nuclear offer, the end of bypass. The questions will be asked.
Sweet victory! I accept nothing less.
Joining us from
Did it work? Did you cleanse their corruption?
The Global Public Policy Institute. Thanks for being with us.
The new soldiers of Nauticus have much to be proud of today.
Justice Campaign, the author of the best
Craft here.
Red Notice,
Let's go give Cortifex the death of 1,000 cuts.
Large soldier.
Washington, Melinda Harris,
Man, the shit I was poured down my throat. Blew your bogey brains out.
And from Kiev, correspondence is Oliver Craig.
What are you looking for, soldiers?
Screaming memes are working my
Here
nerves.
you will find old
Spread my check. Even for walking across those things are nuts.
So-called format, in other words, bringing in German and French mediators. It was part of, you might say, a diplomatic flurry that's still going on after last week. Brian Quinn.
This is a war of attrition, my allies. Take the fight to the enemy.
As Europe braces for the possibility of
The
war.
way is clear.
German forces Baerbock met Tuesday with her Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov on both sides, stressing the importance of good relations. But a dark cloud hung over the talk.
The enemy.
The next box has more than 100,000 Russian soldiers and tanks and guns scavenging Ukraine in recent weeks.
Right, revenants.
Headshot. Works like a charm.
Wants to revive the so-called
Don't get in my way. Eat the dirt. Yeah, I ain't impressed. Bag of bones. Shouldn't have pissed me off.
colleagues that attempt to politicize the project would be counterproductive.
I'm on a roll here. Let it ride. Sorry, slack dog losers, but I like my elbow. Don't those crowds have a clip their nails?
Such a strange
comes to putting the Nord Stream 2 pipeline on ice for a long time.
Skulls versus bullets. No contest.
You cannot win.
Slightly better and so that the tone was slightly more
Oh, you're just begging to get free. And yes, that's what bomber pilots do. Stern creep. More like worms. Taste your own medicine. Doctor, fuck off.
Try that again. I promise it will not go as well for you.
Pipeline shouldn't be dragged into this conflict. It has, in effect, is what you're saying.
That's a win.
Well, yes. I mean, Germany has been remarkably consistent in claiming that this project was a purely economic project.
Help Bellicon.
Why am I suddenly hungry for ribs?
Affirming that it is in fact more than everything.
Once we go through a portal, I'll explain
It's a
in
sign
greater
that
detail.
he's also trying to silence also the other voices in his party that.
May
that
it help
want
you
to
prevail.
project is purely an economic one.
Melinda Herring, before I ask you about what you could call it the breaking news out of Washington with the announcement that Antony Blinken will be meeting his Russian counterpart at the end of the week again, your reaction to that visit by Annalena Baerbock to Moscow?
So I don't think it's
Blowing eyes, we think you get shot. Feels like I'm doing all the work around.
very strong. She said that Ukraine has to provide
You just made my target. Kamikaze corpses? Sick now. Choke on that, asshole.
Go to Berlin, or at least that was announced. Now he's first going to Kiev, and then Geneva for that meeting with Sergei Lavrov.
So it's a little weird. Last week we had 3 big meetings, and the Russians said
And the credit my neck. They killed more of us if they kept their traps shut. Who you broke brains out?
Moscow keeps pressuring us to meet and meet and meet. And now I think it's a little. I'm not sure but it's good that Washington and Moscow are talking. I think
made a good job. Give you that.
We have reached a point where both sides fundamentally disagree about NATO membership, and there's no way
Bogies
to
are getting
square
the
that
belt
circle.
fed beat down.
No way to square that circle, but wait, are you saying you've come around and that you're now okay with the U.S. Secretary of State meeting Sergei Lavrov?
I think he has to. I think that the U.S. made a mistake and gave away some leverage. Last week they did 3 big meetings, and they did not demand a de-escalation before those meetings. Why didn't they? I think a lot of people have patted Washington on the back and President Biden for being strong and tough. He put down 3 major consequences if Russia invades again. He said you will see the biggest, meanest, nasty package of sanctions that you've ever seen. You will see more defensive material in Ukraine, and you'll see more NATO troops. right? Those were the three conditions. The big question is, has that deterred them? And I think the answer is no. And the U.S. has only done one thing material. But why isn't the Biden administration pushing NATO to move forces forward?
Yeah, I ain't impressed.
Not too late.
Bad move.
Really intense on it.
You didn't think I'd hit back?
What do you make of the timing of what's going on? First the true build-up, and now the diplomatic explosion.
Well, I would say
Fire with the angels now.
domestic position.
Pow! Right in the noggin.
Whenever he's starting to be unpopular in 2014, the Crimea,
They can break those anchors. Victory never comes
Russia is going through an economic calamity brought on by COVID. A lot of people also dying from COVID. He's not as popular as he was before. And he needs to have a war situation. And I can just remind everybody listening that Russia has been at war with Ukraine since 2014. Russia.
Son of a bitch!
Russia has membership. So all we're talking about is
There's more where that came from. I do it. I'm making this look easy. Professor calls a boom trap. Emphasis on boom.
So wait a second. You're saying that Annalena Baerbock...
Oh, sweet thing. Try that again, folks. That was a hell of a straight.
It doesn't achieve anything other than the people on television say, look, I had the German foreign minister here begging us for something, and that is
all revenants for power. Overwhelm them.
By parking 100,000.
They sure can't throw a haymaker.
Very clearly what we have said, which is there'll be terrible things that will happen if you do that. But leave it at that. What is there to talk about?
Right, there's terrible things.
That's all wrong flyboy, didn't you? You just made my target.
Quick to deny. Block reporting when
penetrating my voice. Without current
Russia's already taking efforts to, we call it de-dollarize its economy. By the graph, the increase in reserves that are up sharply. Bill Browder, this talk of kicking Russia out of SWIFT, is it serious?
I'm not sure how serious it is, but to the extent that it is serious, that's a real, a devastating blow.
The containment spells that traps us is being strengthened by
When this was
augmentovers.
done to Iran, it brought the Iranian economy back to that was what to negotiate after years and years of begging them to negotiate. You can only negotiate when you're in a position of strength, when you have leverage. And cutting Russia off SWIFT would be that. I was very heartened to read it, and I'm disheartened to not a but I don't think what really press are when they aren't right now. Everybody is scrambling.
Oh, it's just begging to get free.
Enough reserves to be able to pivot away from dollars.
Right back
No,
at you.
it's all about
This'll come in handy.
If they were cut off from SWIFT. No question about it.
Julia Friedrich?
We can only hope so.
We can only hope so, you're saying.
Yes.
How serious are the sanctions?
I'm shooting your face again! Great. Now my ears.
Is it not going to be a huge problem for European countries to pay for those gas imports if Russia is cut off from the SWIFT system?
There's no question that it would complicate everything if Russia were cut off from the SWIFT system.
And so they won't do it, huh?
Hot gun! Last go! They'd kill more of us if they kept their traps.
Very safely. I mean, from a Russian standpoint, if for some reason they weren't selling gas anymore,
Lights out, asshole!
their economy would
You lose, Frankenstein. Don't these krauts ever clip their nails? You're gonna piss me off.
Another defense for the gas could be found if Russia was cut off from the SWIFT system. It's not like we're saying that if Russia is cut off from the SWIFT system, then that means European countries would have to stop importing all of this gas.
Well, so the way that you would cut off Russia from the SWIFT system was to say that anybody who tried to trade in dollars with Russia would be sanctioned for violating U.S. sanctions or EU or UN sanctions or whatever we decide to call them.
Yeah!
At the end of the day,
That put the lead in my
pencil.
pencil.
Exemption was made for Russian gas. An exemption could be made for Russian gas.
Let me bring in Melinda Herring on
But I
this.
think there's a bigger problem. Yes.
Right on top.
What we're doing in Washington,
Damn fuck! Now back and forth.
but SWIFT is not part of it. Right now, the sanctions on Russia are or at 2 or 3. What we're looking at is Russia.
No vote for the gun.
Not SWIFT. But Russia knows what it is. I don't know if it's right. I
can
think
be.
what is
Sorry, black belt losers, but I like my elbow.
They know what this would cost, and I don't think that they're very scared by our sanctions. That's my great fear.
Not very scared by the sanctions. Of course, there's rhetoric, what we hear in front of the cameras. Let's listen, for instance, to the Russian Foreign Secretary.
We don't construct our policy under the principle of what happens if. That sounds more like our Western colleagues who threaten sanctions against the Russian Federation at the drop of a hat practically every day.
But Melinda Herring, we do know that Russia...
Nauticus will show you how to cleanse cortexes from stain on our lands.
We'll recall, for instance, that this whole build-up began after the Ukrainian military started using drones. So there is this feeling that Russia was caught off guard. Is it purely about domestic politics, the way Bill Browder put it?
Eliminate the augmento.
No, I
Maybe
see a
see
lot of
stars.
reasons why this might go into this.
Aim for the brain cage.
One of these know a little bit. He's the whole autocrat, and he cares about his legacy.
What have you done to my augmento? You will die screaming for this!
He talks about Stalin and Ivan the Great, and you're a great leader in Russia to take
I will brook no further losses.
So that's one argument in favor of going in this time. Another argument in favor is that there's never been a better time. Vladimir Putin looks at the world. Biden's numbers plummeted. Zelensky's numbers plummeted. Oil and gas prices are up. He's had a great year in 2021. There's no real leader in Europe. There's never been a better time for him to go in. There's also been increasing South Coast rhetoric in Moscow in July. That's why long essay about how Ukraine is not a real country. Its leaders are illegitimate. And by the way, Russia's land is on Ukraine. This is our land. Now it looks like a declaration of war.
Oh, you're just begging to get free. Feels like I'm doing all the work around.
He thought he'd be able to get a deal, and Zelensky won't stop talking about it.
Blew that one's head off.
In Ukraine. So he also is sitting on a lot of international reserves. So I think when he looks at the map, there's never been a better time. But is he going to go in? He's aware that sanctions do bite. I don't think they bite as much as the West
are gone, yes?
Our economists say they bite between 2 and 3% of they can factor it in, given the international reserves they have, but there may be other ways to achieve.
Thanks a lot, Scully Von Ribcage.
So I think that's what Moscow's really looking at now, is how do we get what we want without triggering and causing the most chaos and dislocation in Ukraine and in Europe.
So, Gulliver Crag, we had, where you are, that cyber attack at the end of last week.
This stuff will make you want to kill. Or is it just me?
Institutions. Now the...
Headshot. Works like a charm.
For sure.
Straight from the top shelf of hell. Brought you down. Right back in. Oh, sweet vengeance.
One might think that this is all part of Russia's
the old alley
sweep. They really want everyone to believe that they're planning to attack. And a lot of people in Ukraine still think that it's obviously in Vladimir Putin's interest to take this blast.
Right on target. They sure can't throw a haymaker. Drop that bag of bones.
Just don't believe it. Perhaps people are refusing to believe it. Perhaps they're hiding their head in the sand. I don't know. But certainly the other
shouldn't have pissed me off.
Which kind of lead one to come down more on the side of probably he is going to do something.
You just made my target.
Really about Ukraine, about
taste your own medicine.
I doubt it's about public opinion, really. It's not the same atmosphere with Crimea. And then there's the question of, is this really about Europe's... I wanted to say, if Vladimir Putin doesn't get...
Lights out, asshole! I'm making this look easy.
Give us anything that we ask for. I mean, how's that going to play out with Russian public opinion? That doesn't really make sense to me.
I'm trying to feel fire. Try that again, folks. Old bogey goes unpunished. I'll carpet bomb all your ass.
About Ukrainians and Russians being one people, pointing as Melinda Herring saying to Vladimir Putin's eye on his legacy and that he would like to be the guy who won back control of Ukraine.
Sturmkrieger. More like worm feed.
And to move to the point that Zelensky has stayed on message talking about joining NATO all the time, further annoying Vladimir Putin?
Well, I mean, I don't really know whether or not that is it depends whether or not you sort of believe that Ukraine might join NATO, or that there might be offensive NATO weapons deployed in Ukraine. I think there is quite strong reason to think that all that is just a pretext, a straw man, actually, as the UK Defence Secretary, Ben Wallace, wrote in a piece that I read today that was published on the UK government website. He says all this stuff about NATO and Russia security is a straw man, a real target in Ukraine. That, I mean, among all the column benches arguing different points very cogently, but really quite incompatible points with each other. I think the points made by Ben Wallace saying that really this is about Ukraine, that they resonate with Ukrainians pretty strongly. And of course, the UK has now committed to arming Ukraine. At the moment, the United Kingdom's running
Alexis, show them how to steal back power.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace announcing Monday an undisclosed number of military advisors are being sent to train troops there in the use of high-tech equipment and light anti-armor defense.
Pick up runestones dropped by revenants. They
The Kremlin
contain demonic
has also been
energies.
invited to go to London for talks. Let's see how that went down.
The Senator feeds on runestones and it shares its bounty.
Damn near shredded my chest!
Defensive, but also offensive.
Choke on that, asshole! That's the wrong plywood, didn't it?
German army.
Don't these Krauts ever clip their nails? Bad move.
On the British.
I fought bouncers tougher than you. My co-pilot.
They are serious. And the British are probably also aware that the Germans
Pretty sure I just qualified as an ace. That made me see stars.
Also asked about the argued that
You don't get to hit me and walk. Yeah, devastating. Damn strong for a bag of bones.
The Senator move? Why can't that thing stay put?
Regarding policies that is very unlikely to change. And I wanted to add to what was said before about whether it was about Ukraine, about NATO, or about
Be dangerous. Yeah. If it ain't worth a damn. Knock the fuck off. Oh, you're just begging to
That cannot be allowed.
The UK sending military advisors
You didn't think I'd get back?
I don't know, owner of Chelsea Football Club, Roman Abramovich, one of the
Senator police. Find it, plaything.
well, in this case it would be football club, but there are plenty of who park their money
They sure can't throw a payment.
Just what you said. To put it into some context, again, coming back to what Vladimir Putin is all about, Vladimir Putin is first and foremost stole an enormous amount of money that's in power. I estimate $200 billion. He doesn't keep any of that money in his own name.
Even dark
He puts
ether
that money in the
entities
name of
have their
oligarch
needs.
trustees. A lot of these oligarchs you've heard about.
Go on, see
And all of
attack.
these oligarchs
Invicta
keep that money
Good deal from the rag and bone.
in the West. And so Putin's big Achilles heel in his personal
Ready to deploy.
is this money. His money held by oligarchs.
Headshot.
And
Works like a
that's a
charm.
very, very powerful way of affecting his behavior. And it's made that's what he has to do.
Smoke your big car.
Or the buildup of troops. How would you go about it? There's a list of oligarchs who are
Screaming memes are working my nerves.
all these organizations, various other people.
No bogus is unfunny.
People on the list. That's the first time saying that
Smart enough to pull the trigger. Dumb enough to mess with me. I'm on a roll. Let it ride.
Canada in the next 24 hours. And then we'll do another week, another month. And let's see how quickly
That was set off.
this culture of oligarchs, it's all the former Soviet states, Bill. We saw it last week when we were watching some unprecedented events that unfolded in Kazakhstan. The same is true, by the way, for Ukraine. After all, the former president, Mr. Poroshenko, was an oligarch.
Just make sure.
Well, there's definitely a whole sort of trend of oligarch kleptocracy and oligarch capitalism in all of these places. But Russia is by far, the leader in this. The amount of money from Russia, the amount of money stolen from the states, the amount of money in the hands of the oligarchs, the amount of government officials partnered with the oligarchs, and the amount of money offshore, it's really a sort of class by itself.
You are but sheep in the lion's den.
Opportunity for the West in this type of situation, and a huge killing for Putin.
That's what bomber pilots do.
It's remarkable to me that is not one of the things of the menu, because that's a way that it takes everybody else out of the picture. You don't have to worry about gas, you don't have to worry about Russian citizens, things that they might in, you don't have to worry about anything other than a small number of people who are effectively causing trouble.
Now my ears are ringing.
Yeah, when another oligarch who is inheriting the Russian debts, was that a problem?
Keep falling, folks. There's more where that came from.
I'm so sorry.
Professor calls them boom devices. Emphasis on boom. You made a good target. I'll give you that.
As well as some other Russian oligarchs. So I think
I'm on a roll here. Let it ride.
By the intelligence team. I think that there's one thing we haven't talked about. The mood in Washington is very anxious. We have a gentleman named Ladislav Stevenson on the ground there, a journalist. He says that people don't want to talk about it, that they want to go about their very day, or they feel very realistic, that if it happens, it was going to be. So, and then Europe feels very different as well. There's different perceptions of
my turn, asshole. Even for walking corpses, those things are nuts. Shut the fuck up! I fucked down. Taste your own medicine.
Damn you all! Cortex must rest.
Showdown
now.
The current,
But I will have revenge.
That beginning again.
To fight again.
Absolutely, and it probably is, although I can only guess what exactly the details are, a showdown between oligarchs of some kind. I would imagine that
another small victory.
Rivals
Bravo, my friends.
Perhaps Igor Kolomoisky, who backed Volodymyr Zelensky.
Belika and I are recruiting new allies from the Dark Ether.
I mean, Volodymyr Zelensky himself is a wealthy man and is unhappy also about Petro Poroshenko's treatment of him in the election in 2019. It seems to have some kind of visceral hatred of the former president.
Aim for the brain pan! Boom, you're trying.
This entourage Poroshenko in jail to prosecute him, despite the fact that it is so obviously very bad for Ukraine's image. It echoes the former President Viktor Yanukovych's treatment of his...
Your mechanical skills are impressive.
Yulia Tymoshenko, if you remember, she was jailed back in 2012. I mean, all of this looks very bad for Ukraine. It's really very depressing. The fact that it's happening, and also the fact that Petro Poroshenko is so...
Like to see the Smoke your big cover. Right in the knot. Kamikaze. Sick of it.
It's going to take resolve to diffuse this tension.
Try it. Try that again, Bogey.
It's totally inappropriate.
Gonna piss me off.
All the help they can get, all the Western support they can get, for them to have these power struggles flare up in the midst of a potential war is just the most inappropriate thing. It's very bad form on Zelensky's part, and again, it's the Ukrainians aren't doing themselves any favors by
sweet vengeance.
Perhaps a great harm to their support from the West.
Right back at you.
Matter of fact,
Friday, sit down in Geneva. What do you say?
I would say go in there and tell Lavrov
Now my ears are
you
ringing.
get nothing, and we will destroy you economically and in every other way we can if you want to invade a formalization for Russia. There's no other message. There's no other. Started with the status quo of Russia already
And the express my check.
acting as terrorists here with any type of concession.
Got the fuck Keep falling, Bogey. You're forward that key.
From a country that was 22 during the Cold War, where 1 million citizens speak Russian.
This is Kraft. Something unexpected has occurred here. Return to my office at once.
Copy.
You see it, yes?
I'll get right on.
Yet another new portal has appeared.
Yes, I do think so.
Nauticus, did any of you summon
been
it?
sort of more of a moderating hour of the
appears to lead somewhere outside the
and also portraying itself as this bridge between East and
I
West.
am not a fighting man, but I would want that.
Within Germany, we see that people do perceive Russia as a threat now. Not only
Belka
Ukraine,
and
but
I
also
have a plan
Turkey
to
as a
summon
whole.
help.
So I do think that would be a
Cortex once
red
ruled the dark ether. Many there
Melinda
still
Herron,
hold a grudge.
at this point in time, how far will Joe Biden go when he's still licking his wounds from the withdrawal from Afghanistan?
seeking aid with the severed head of a reptile.
I don't think he can afford another foreign policy screw up. That's why it's so important to get Ukraine right. And if I can just drill down and say one thing about the Poroshenko-Zelensky match. Poroshenko is no angel. I've been one of his biggest critics. He's also
Blew
not
your
a
bogey
traitor.
brains
But
out.
these charges against him, they don't pass the laugh test. And now it's getting the time to
Don't you crouch? Open the nails.
And I hope that Biden and his team will
You didn't think I'd hit back? You don't get the and walk. Tag. Bad. Mess with the wrong fly, didn't you? You just made my target. Choke on that, asshole.
You think it a triumph to beg demons for help? You will regret it.
May this moment finally summon my allies.
The enemy of my enemy. I just hope the saying is true. The containment spell of Trepsas is being strengthened by augmentoverse.
Having amassed over 100,000 troops close to the border and imposing unacceptable there's a real one the monster could be about to initiate a dangerous invasion.
Blowing eyes just beg to get shot.
But will it really risk an invasion?
Hello and welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name is James Curlincy, and here I take an informed look at international relations, conflicts, and the origins of countries. One of the most important subjects in international relations is when and how countries go to war. Obviously,
Nauticus, strike a blow against Cortifex.
Implications can be huge in all sorts of ways. Aside from the military dimensions, there are also wider political, economic, domestic, and international factors that need to be considered. Even if a war can be won relatively easily on the ground, the broader effects can often prove.
Try that again. No cut. The screaming Mimis are working my nerves.
To be weighed up against a complex range of conflicts and effects. The debate on whether Russia will launch a full-scale invasion of Ukraine is an important case in point. Although Moscow has supported the separatist conflict that is now entering its 9th year, there's a sense that a new phase may be about to emerge. Growing numbers of Russian forces on the border.
You just made my target.
That Russia could soon order an attack. But what are the factors that need to be considered? I covered the background of the conflict in Ukraine. By way of summary, Ukraine lies in Eastern Europe.
I shoot your face again if you still have it.
230,000 square miles. It's the 44th size.
Don't you bounce and cook the nails? Shouldn't have pissed me off.
According to the 2001 census,
sweet,
Ukraine is followed by Russians, comprising around 70%.
Don't get my
Russia. At 17 million square kilometers, or 6.6 million square miles, it's the world's largest country. It's at around 144 million. The current crisis has its roots in the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. Following independence, Russia and Ukraine were left with several outstanding issues.
Those firms save an unholy state. Did you stop
the Soviet fleet in the Crimean Peninsula, a territory which was conceded by Russia to Ukraine in the 1950s, much to the lingering resentment of many Russians. In the end, the issues were resolved when Ukraine transferred missiles to Russia in return for a Russian guarantee to respect its sovereignty and territorial integrity. Later, they agreed to define the navies, and Russia was granted control of the port in Crimea until 2017, later extended to 2042. While Ukraine joined the Commonwealth of Independent States, a loose
Russian containment spell all around us.
Many Ukrainians pushed for closer ties west.
Son of a bitch!
In November 2013, when Ukraine's pro-Russian president blocked an association agreement with them.
I had a feeling you would try to use the Sin Eater.
As the president fled to Russia,
it is you
counter-protests
who will be
arose in
devoured.
the Russian-speaking east and south. This saw Russia invade and then annex Crimea and then support a separatist insurgency into Russian-dominated eastern provinces.
I'll carpet bomb all your Oh, you're just saying.
1.5 years place. By granting its inhabitants Russian citizenship,
Keep beating the city!
they remain firmly within Russian against the backdrop of Russian President Vladimir
Don't get in my way.
When Moscow Ukraine or any form of part of the USSR. This is that membership is a matter of the organization. Latest estimates suggest that there are now about 120,000 Christians, 200 kilometers or 120 miles from the border. This is prompted widespread
Aim for the brain pan!
Soldiers,
I do.
you from Cortifex.
Try right back
steal
at you.
from me.
Also worth noting that the context has changed. This statement arguing that Ukraine's future is tied to Russia and its direct call for NATO to avoid any expansion of the war. Appears to signal the Russian resolve.
Look, he puts on a killer's coat.
It may now be difficult for Russia to back down. But what would Russia do?
Smart enough to pull the trigger. Dumb enough to mess with me.
It may have been an objective back then, but Moscow now controls Russian Ukraine. Any further expansion will be into areas predominantly inhabited by
They sure can't go anything.
The argument that Russia is trying to control Ukraine as a whole, it isn't obvious how this would actually further that goal. A full occupation of Ukraine seems out of the question. The military, economic, political, and would merely make the rest of the country
strike down all rebels.
Likewise, the argument that it's about controlling NATO's expansion also has its flaws.
Wszystko twój brat Kinka tam lepo, miru Kinka, używa.
At the end of the Cold War, an invasion wouldn't necessarily Most observers point out that while NATO offered Ukraine the prospect of membership in 2008, this has long since ceased to be a realistic prospect. But even if an invasion were to effectively end hopes of NATO's enlargement into Ukraine, it may be elsewhere.
Invicta will open today.
And Prime Minister of Finland, a neutral country, predicted that membership may be on the order if Russia were to act. Given Finland's 1,300-kilometer or 840-mile border with Russia, Russia would face more NATO, not less. But perhaps the most plausible objective for any invasion would be not only to stop
Skulls versus Bolts. No contest.
Oh, you poor lost soldiers! You have stepped into the meat grinder.
Formally secure Ukraine's acceptance of Russia's annexation of Crimea, and perhaps gain the formal transfer of the document. That doesn't happen, Russia would nevertheless be a powerful place in the world willing to expand in its own defense. But assuming this is the rationale for invasion, there are many other factors.
Hot gun! Last stroke.
On the face of it, Russia
Hey, I'm making this look easy.
to this end,
right on
successful
target.
invasion would seem to require greater Russian numbers.
Even for walking corpses, those things are nuts.
This would be limited. What many countries avoid this cost.
Feels like I'm doing all the work around.
Going to war with Russia. Now, Moscow knows it. That said,
I do this.
that any further
You didn't think I'd hit
have
back?
massive consequences and would carry a high price. A point reiterated by Trump. And by by negotiation with
Sorry, Black Dog loser. I like my elbow.
at the political level, the effects of invasion. But perhaps not Ukraine.
Try that again, Bogey. That was a hell of a straight.
Although there may well be from the general any action.
I'll carpet bomb all your
Meanwhile,
That was a hell of a straight.
about
I dropped real. You fire. Eat the dirt. But I brought you down. It's my turn, asshole.
sanctions across the range, but there are some other areas.
You don't get to hit me and walk. You just made my target.
made a blood enemy of Oberfuhrer Wolfram von List.
Consequences of any further sanctions. Putin will also know that such a step will have a huge effect on already high energy prices of Europe. This will carry a major domestic political cost for Western countries. Another option would be to
Kraft
make a
speaking.
decisive shift
We need
away
more
from Russian
allies.
resources.
I have a plan
One
for that.
frequent main suggestion, including
Pusti!
by US
So you can send our cry for help.
is that Germany
Ma!
cancels Nord Stream
Ma!
gas pipeline that will bypass Ukraine and link Russia and Germany. While this
Schiacciato questo tubo, schiacciato, razumeš? Schiacciato, gledajte, ne ga Ivec, gled v kamero tam, ne ga Ivec si, ti si ne ga, schiacciato questo tubo, schiacciato, za nas dol, tako. Nehaj delati kažin, si razumel? Si razum? Šnehal? Kažin. Tako. Kaj pejdi spat? Spat, ja. To so za te bože, ne? To so za te bože. Se mi ne date bože cel dan, ne morete cel dan bože, da razumeš, ne morete cel dan. CoD Zombies, por que a gente ficou na mira? Fiquei com ali, fiquei com um monte de quem? Um monte de quem? Kijk het. Ze me kiknel, ze me kikneli, ze me zreed hebben. Kikneli.